the European tell us, even about whether the World War, whatever, it's just basically European driven stuff. You understand?
Yeah.
Generally, it's European driven stuff. So at the end of the day, we are in those states of compliance, not because we choose to, but because we are conditioned. We are like trained dogs and slaves, because we think when we watch TV we are getting news or entertainment, but our mind has been conditioned to accept European as our masters or our, you understand? And that is keeping us backward. That means our languages are dying, our identity is dying, our whole image, and we remain like youths because we can't make, look at every race is building cars, cell phones, watches, you understand? But we are like as a people building nothing, you understand? Because we remain below the European dominance, which is like they own us. You understand? And which is not generally our fault, because we are raised by the order to comply with their dominance. You understand? So nobody dare to challenge why these people never have our names, but we have their names. Why do we call ourselves blacks when we look brown? Actually, it's racist dominance, because we are brown, but they call us black. They are pink, but they call themselves white. The whole idea is to make us accept that we're inferior. So they have to put the kind of information that demonizes you from A to Z. You understand? So you are brown, but you are called black. And we know that black is usually associated to negativity. You understand? And then you can say that the whole thing, and they even tell us our own history. And they tell us our current present through the news. You understand? And those things allow them to do what? They allow them to demonize us, to feel low for ourselves. That's why society, like you said, makes the small growing African child pick up that they are better. You understand?
Yeah, the notion that, yeah.
So it is oppression. So will you support that brown Africans bring that state of affairs to an end? Will you support that the leadership, if there is a leadership that can bring that state of affairs to an end, so that brown people become their own masters, so that they start benefiting themselves, so that they start owning their land and developing their own languages and culture and putting their own values and interests first? Will you support such a leadership that's going to promote that agenda, so that the low self-esteem and the perception that brown are inferior and worshipping others end? Will you accept that state of affairs? Will you support that?
I would, only if it's not like, because you know that when you try to like do something, it might be like apartheid the other way around. Only it's based on like making.
How can you say us ending the dominance? We say we ending the dominance. That means bringing it to zero. It means we make them like Pakistanis relate to us. Have you heard about Pakistani? You've seen Pakistanis, right? You know there is a relationship between brown people and Pakistanis, right? And Pakistanis have zero influence over us, zero dominance, and we don't oppress Pakistanis, isn't it? It means we make them like Pakistanis relate to us, zero. Will you support it? This is not us oppressing anybody, but this is us ending.
I would support it only.
No, you must not add, you must not add evenly, because we are talking about ending, because we are facing oppression. Is this not oppression when they use us like tools to better their lives in their houses, in their farms? We don't own our land, we don't own our natural resources, we are generally feeling inferior. Our languages are now dying. Like I told you, we speak our language with many of the words. Some parents don't want their children to speak their mother languages. African children learn foreign languages, foreign European languages first before their own languages. A whole order of poverty, low self-esteem, and mental inferiority complex. That's an oppression. That means it's oppression, because the order, while you are free to move freely, there's a perception of freedom. You can see a brown president, but the order, how things are set up, right, is against brown. It maintains dominance. It maintains a European dominance of Africans. And if your historical oppressors maintain dominance over you, it's oppression. So we're not talking about doing oppression, we're talking about ending the oppression, because that kind of dominance can only be oppression, because it strips us with so many things that's supposed to advance us, you understand? That's supposed to restore our dignity. But we're talking about ending that. So will you support actually a people that continue to oppress us, like I told you, the order, the reality? These people are not the people you're supposed to cater for or even feel whatever, because they're doing us wrong, and they've been doing us for centuries, and they give us the impression it's our own fault. But it is them who control, because from when we are raised, they put things in our brain, you understand? They turn us like trained dogs. So this cannot be accepted by any rational person. You agree with me, right? So which means you should not focus on them or what might happen to them or what. You should focus on us breaking free, you understand? Because in our condition, we cannot oppress anybody anyway, you understand? We don't have the means to oppress nobody because our mind is so down. For you to oppress somebody, first your mind must be its own master, you understand? Our minds are not our own masters. We are totally own, you understand? So the idea that we can oppress them is an illusion. It's just fiction. We're talking about ending their dominance. So will you support that we make them zero like Pakistanis relate to us?
I would.
You would, right? But your body language is not telling me that it's not saying the same thing you're saying. So just let me repeat. Will you support that we make them zero like Pakistanis relate to us? And we also have zero dominance to Pakistanis. We are not oppressing Pakistanis. So will you support that we make them zero in our lives like Pakistanis relate to us? Because the kind of dominance over us is illegal and is oppression. Will you support that? So that we can progress as a people, so that we no longer under the dominance or ownership of other people, so that we can start working for ourselves, so that we can benefit. That means we take back control for our land, natural resources, we restore our language as pillars of communication, we restore our identity as everything, we start writing our own history, we start reporting our own news, not them reporting anymore, because we are supposed to be our own masters. Because the kind of history they have in Africa, if you leave them even on iota of a hands or access to you, they're gonna turn you into a slave. Because they look at how the brown people are suffering everywhere and they're feeling inferior. But anyway, okay, the whole idea here is to be our own masters. 100% masters, like the Chinese. You know the Chinese don't feel inferior. They feel great. They own masters. Nobody tell them what. Will you support that we make them zero, like we relate to Pakistanis? Will you support that?
To have that common domination.
Will you support that we make them zero, so that we become our own masters? If you are worried about technology, nobody has the copyright of technology. Everything European manufacture, Chinese do, Japanese do, Iranians do, and most of what we get, we buy. We don't get for free. So we can buy from others if they don't want to sell. You understand? So you can forget about that. And don't believe that they created technology. It's just fiction, because they tell us everything. You understand? They lie. Like Chinese created guns. Chinese created compass, the first book. Actually, the only things that I have in my brain recorded that I've researched, European only created slavery, colonialism, apartheid, prostitution, which is a feature of the society, and injustice. That's all I know. Any other things is not the creation. It's because other people, like this camera is from Japanese Sony, you understand? And Sony is the leader. Japanese are known as yellow people, you understand? So forget about the so-called technology, what. They have nothing. They are not the only one. So will you support that we make them zero? Because there is nothing we need them to be. I mean, you can't accept to be a slave. Otherwise, you can't make progress. You understand? So will you support that we make them like Pakistanis rate to a zero? Will you agree with that?
I would agree.
Very interesting, sister. Kifil, what you say? Refill way. And she's been a bit hesitating, whatever. But the brain takes a bit of time to adjust, isn't it? To a reality that has been set up by inhuman people, because they make us like. And you heard about racism. Brown people always complain about racism all the time, isn't it? So it shows these people are not our friends and they're keeping us. But anyway, any closing argument you would like to make to our viewers?
No comment.
No comment. Thank you very much, Sister Rifule.